Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered what's the gap between where you are and where you want to be? It's not out there. It's in here, in your mind. Your mindset is the gate, the 1%. They don't have more hours than you. They face fear and keep going. They get tired, but they don't quit. They don't scroll all day and wish. They act, they focus, they build. And guess what? You can too. But first, you have to decide. Are you done making excuses, or do you really want change? Whether you're learning English, building a new habit, or just trying to become more confident, this mindset can change your path. Because this isn't just about learning new words or grammar rules. It's about how you see yourself, how you respond to challenges, and how you show up even when no one is watching. So if you're here to shadow my voice, improve your English, or build real confidence, get ready. Today's episode is for you. Let's dive in. What is the 1% mindset, really? The 1% mindset is not about being the best in the world. It's not about working 20 hours a day, or having the most money, or being the smartest person in the room. It's about something much simpler and more powerful. The 1% mindset means choosing small, intentional actions that move you forward, even just a little, every day. It's the belief that small progress done consistently is more powerful than waiting for a perfect moment. While most people stop when they're tired or bored or discouraged, people with the 1% mindset keep going. Not because it's easy, but because they've decided who they want to become. And they show up for that future version of themselves, even when it's uncomfortable. This mindset isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's quiet, steady, and patient. It shows up in the little decisions, waking up early to study, saying no to distractions, doing the hard thing even when nobody claps for you. That's the power of the 1%. Not their success, but their habits. Not their image, but their discipline. You don't need to be extraordinary to live this way. You just need to decide that growth is more important than comfort, that learning is more important than looking good, and that being consistent is more powerful than being perfect. Why do most people get stuck in the 99% mindset? So if the 1% mindset sounds so helpful, why don't more people live this way? The truth is, most people live with a 99% mindset, not because they're lazy, but because the brain is designed to protect us. It wants comfort. It avoids pain. It tells us, don't try. You might fail. Just stay where you are. It's safer. That voice in your head, the one that says, you're not ready or this isn't working, that's part of the 99% mindset. It makes you wait. It keeps you overthinking. It convinces you that if something doesn't feel good, you should stop. But the truth is, most progress doesn't feel good at first. The 99% mindset also depends on motivation. When it's there, you act. When it's gone, you quit. That's why so many people start things, learning a language, going to the gym, waking up early. But then stop, because they're waiting for motivation, instead of building systems that work even when they don't feel like it. The 1% mindset is different. It sees resistance and keeps going. It doesn't listen to fear. It builds structure, routine, and inner strength, so that success becomes automatic over time. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you choose what matters, again and again. So, is talent really the reason people succeed? Many people think that success comes from being naturally gifted, We say things like, "She's just good at that," or "He's lucky, I could never do that." But when you look closely at the people who succeed long-term, a different pattern appears. Yes, some people have talent, but talent without consistency doesn't go far. It's the people who keep going, who practice when no one's watching, who truly grow. Think about language learning. Some people pick up words quickly, but if they don't practice, they forget. Meanwhile, someone else may struggle at first, but if they keep studying and using English every day, they will improve, slowly, steadily. And that improvement lasts. That's the 1% mindset. The truth is, talent might give you a head start, but it doesn't decide how far you go. The real power is in your habits, in your choices, in your mindset. And the good news, that's something you can build, starting today. What does discipline really look like in daily life? Discipline isn't about being strict or hard on yourself. It's not about pushing until you collapse. Real discipline is quiet. It's gentle. It's about keeping promises to yourself, even small ones. It's waking up when you said you would, studying English for 15 minutes instead of scrolling, going for a walk instead of skipping it. People with the 1% mindset don't wait to feel like it. They know feelings come and go. They act anyway because they've made a decision in advance. I'm becoming the kind of person who shows up. And that belief changes how they live. Over time, discipline creates freedom, because when you trust yourself to follow through, everything gets easier. You don't have to overthink. You just act. You build a rhythm, and that rhythm starts changing your results, one day at a time. Why is discomfort actually a good sign? Most people try to avoid discomfort. It's natural. We don't like doing things that feel hard or awkward. But the truth is, discomfort is not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're growing. It means you're doing something new, something unfamiliar, something that requires you to stretch. Imagine learning English. The first time you speak, your voice might shake. You might forget words. You might feel embarrassed. But if you stay with that discomfort, you become stronger, more confident, more capable. The 1% mindset welcomes discomfort, not because it's fun, but because it leads somewhere powerful. It leads to growth. So next time something feels hard, ask yourself, is this discomfort or is this progress in disguise? How can failure help you grow instead of stop you? Failure hurts. We all know that. But what if failure isn't the enemy? What if it's actually one of your most important teachers? That's how the 1% mindset sees it. Every time something doesn't work, there's a chance to learn, adjust, try again, with more wisdom. Most people fear failure because they believe it means I'm not good enough. But that's not true. Failure means you tried. And if you're willing to keep going, that failure becomes part of your strength. You're not starting from scratch next time. You're starting from experience. The 1% mindset doesn't avoid failure. It respects it. It listens. It learns. It builds a deeper kind of confidence, one that says, even when I fall, I get back up. And that makes me unstoppable. What does it mean to take full ownership of your life? Ownership means taking full responsibility, not for everything that happens to you, but for how you respond. It's easy to blame. It's easy to say, I'm not improving because of my teacher, or my job, or my situation. But ownership asks a different question. What can I do today to move forward? The 1% mindset doesn't waste time waiting. It acts. Even if life is unfair, even if others don't understand, even if things aren't perfect. Ownership is powerful because it gives you back control. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you, and you start building your own path. When you take ownership, everything changes. You start making better decisions. You speak more clearly. You build trust with yourself. And that inner shift is what leads to outer success. Why does progress often feel invisible? Have you ever been working hard, studying, practicing, showing up, and still felt like nothing is changing? That's one of the hardest parts of growth. Progress doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, it's slow, it's underneath the surface. Think about a plant. You water it every day. For a while, nothing happens. But under the soil, the roots are growing. And then, one day, it breaks through. That's how personal growth works too. The 1% mindset trusts this process. It doesn't quit just because the results aren't immediate. It believes that small actions done consistently lead to transformation, even if it takes time. How does language learning build your mindset too? Learning English isn't just about vocabulary and grammar. It's about building habits, confidence, resilience. Every time you practice, you're training your brain to focus. Every time you speak, even when it's scary, you're building courage. That's why English is a perfect place to practice the 1% mindset. You're not just learning a language, you're learning how to stay consistent, how to deal with discomfort, how to celebrate small wins. So the next time you shadow a sentence or understand a new phrase, know that you're doing something powerful. You're not just improving your English, you're becoming the kind of person who doesn't give up. Why are intentional choices more powerful than motivation? Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel excited. Other days you feel tired or distracted. That's normal. But if you only act when you're motivated, your progress will stop and start. It won't last. The 1% mindset focuses on intentional choices. That means deciding in advance what matters and sticking to it. Not perfectly, but consistently. It's choosing to read for 5 minutes instead of scrolling. Choosing to speak, even if you make mistakes. Choosing to show up, even if no one notices. Those little choices, repeated daily, build momentum. They turn into habits, and habits create transformation. What is the real difference between busy and productive? It's easy to feel busy. Your schedule is full. You're always doing something. But being busy doesn't always mean you're growing. Productivity is different. It means doing the right things, the ones that truly move you forward. The 1% mindset asks, what matters most today? It focuses on one thing at a time. It doesn't try to do everything. It tries to do what counts, with care, with energy, and with focus. So ask yourself, am I filling my time or using it wisely? That one question can change the way you study, the way you work, and the way you live. Why is energy management more important than time management? We all have the same 24 hours, but not the same energy. You can't focus well when you're exhausted. You can't grow if you're burned out. That's why the 1% mindset protects energy. Like a valuable resource, it means sleeping enough, eating well, taking breaks, moving your body, saying no to what drains you. It also means creating space, time to think, reflect, and reset. When you protect your energy, you can give your best to the things that matter. You make better decisions. You learn faster. You live with more peace. And that's what real success looks like. How do your beliefs shape your results? Your thoughts create your reality. If you believe, I'm bad at languages, you'll avoid speaking. If you think, I'm too old to learn, you'll stop trying. But if you believe, I can grow if I practice, everything changes. The 1% mindset is careful with beliefs. It chooses thoughts that create strength, not weakness. It replaces limiting thoughts with empowering ones, and it repeats those thoughts until they feel real. So ask yourself, what do I believe about myself right now? And is that belief helping me grow or holding me back? Why do small daily habits matter more than big goals? Big goals are exciting. I want to speak fluent English. I want to get a great job. But those goals can feel far away, and that distance can make you feel stuck. That's why the 1% mindset focuses on habits. Habits are small, simple, but powerful. 5 minutes of reading, 1 sentence out loud, writing a short note. These things feel small, but over time, they build confidence, skill, momentum. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a repeatable habit. And once you start, the rest will follow. What does self-image have to do with the 1% mindset? Your self-image is the way you see yourself, and it's more powerful than you think. If you see yourself as lazy, undisciplined, or someone who never finishes things, your brain will start acting that way. Even if you try to change, that old identity will pull you back. But what if you started saying, I'm the kind of person who shows up, I don't quit, I do hard things? At first, it might feel strange, fake even. But the more you act in line with this new image, the stronger it becomes. You don't need to be perfect, just consistent. When you believe in a stronger version of yourself, your actions begin to follow. So start today. Think like the person you want to become. Speak like them. Make decisions like them. Over time, your outer life will catch up with your inner picture. Pause and reflect. What kind of person do you secretly believe you are? What needs to change? Why is consistency more powerful than intensity? We often get excited and want to do everything at once. Start a new habit, change our life, learn fast, grow quickly. That's intensity, but it never lasts. The 1% mindset is built on consistency. Small actions done daily. It's brushing your teeth every day, not just once for an hour. It's writing 1 page, not waiting for inspiration to write a book in 1 weekend. Consistency builds trust in yourself. When you show up again and again, even when you're tired, bored, or stressed, you become unstoppable. You no longer need motivation. You have a system. That's what makes the top 1% different. They don't just act when they feel good, they act because it's who they are. So, don't wait for the perfect time. Pick something small and do it every day, no matter what. And tell me, what's one thing you can commit to daily starting today? What does it mean to play the long game? The 1% mindset means you're not chasing quick wins. You're playing the long game. That means understanding that real change takes time. Growth takes time. Healing, building, learning, it all takes time. But most people quit too early. They expect big results after just a few weeks or months. And when they don't see progress, they give up. The 1% think differently. They're okay with being patient. They're okay with slow progress because they know that real success isn't about being fast, it's about being steady. like a tree growing strong roots before it grows tall. So if you're working on your English, your health, your confidence, keep going. Even if you don't see results yet, the growth is happening even when it's invisible. Trust the process. Keep watering the seed. Your future self is already thanking you for not quitting. How do you avoid burnout while staying in the 1% mindset? The 1% mindset is not about working yourself to exhaustion. It's about being smart, not just intense. Rest is part of the process. Recovery is not weakness, it's strategy. Top performers know when to pause, reflect, recharge. They don't just grind endlessly, they manage their energy, not just their time. So ask yourself, am I pushing too hard? Am I giving myself space to rest, sleep, play, and breathe? If not, burnout will find you. And when you're burned out, even the simplest things feel impossible. You start to hate what you used to love. The key is balance, not perfect balance every day, but balance over time. Work with your energy, not against it. The 1% mindset is about sustainability. It's about showing up tomorrow, not just today. So if you need rest, take it. That's also part of the 1% discipline. What's the final takeaway from the 1% mindset? Here's the truth. Anyone can think this way. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be the smartest or most talented. You just need to decide. Decide to take ownership. Decide to be consistent. Decide to face discomfort. This mindset, the 1% mindset, is about becoming the kind of person who doesn't wait for life to change, but chooses to change, who doesn't just talk about goals, but builds habits that make those goals real, and most of all, someone who doesn't give up, even when progress feels slow. If you've listened all the way to this point, I want you to know something. You are already different. You've stayed with this lesson. You've chosen growth, and that's the first step. Now, it's time to live it, one decision at a time.